Sir Walter Scott, a poet in his poem Marmion wrote, and I quote,
"Oh, what a tangled web we weave, when first we practice to deceive," unquote. Hi, did the caged parrot in reality turn into a scheming wolf? Was it the real reason the then CBI director had to go on 10th Jan? News of Mr Alok Verma's ouster was vaingloriously splashed on TVs and newspapers with pantomime cry of destruction of institutions. Does his removal have a relation to recent IT raids in MP, some scandalous money trails? As per Kaluram, my friend for life of MOD, it is all multiple jalebis in one boiling tawa, Augusta scam included. If the statement of Modi being destroyed is to be true, couple of questions. First, how come past record of CBI, independent under Congress, was nauseatingly pathetic? Doesn't Dr. Thoreau's mention of historical amnesia in his book An Era of Darkness apply most aptly to Congress? Second, why the starched whites are wetting their pants when Christian Michel is now singing Augusta's song inside Hotel Claridge's? Interview you will now see throws up a few intriguing questions, including its linkage to Mr. Verma's removal itself. Occasion was when Mr. Rajiv Saxena and Mr. Deepak Talwar were lifted off from UAE to Delhi.
Let them file the case, try the case and punish whoever is guilty. It's only when a court punishes somebody who is guilty we can come to the conclusion that the goal has been achieved.
Much water has flown under the bridge since. Close aides of a CM, few more on the dock. Hawala trail traced in Raisina Hill. IT raids, charge sheets with some strange names. It's all happening. Did Sri Chidambaramji feel what the future under Modi portends 3 months back itself? Hence the irritation during the interview. This Augusta scam looks like everyone knew, yet no one was aware. This probably explains why journalists' names at last are on charge sheets. Now, this takes us to darker side of some murky, clandestine maneuvering. Most are perplexing questions, but that's how they should remain. Since the story is complex like Delhi Golf Course Club sandwich or my legal check review video, you will have to extract the answers from the labyrinth-like CBI saga. Will involve some time travel too. There was a media brief on 24th October that CBI was about to start probe into Rafale deal. TV debates, newspaper coverage followed. If true, who told this inside information of CBI to Sri Rahulji? Miss Barkadat synchronized tweet. As per sources close to Mr. Verma, government was scared of a registration of preliminary inquiry on Rafale scam. Mr. Asthana would have been arrested and he would sing. It is expected that int people will have their sources. If this tweet is to be believed, I have no reason not to believe Verma had kept sources to leak information. What a way to go, CBI. A Padma Shri awardee, obviously she must be aware of how much scared Modi was. Spot on assessment, madam. Long live our independent media. Rafale version was at least 3 months old by then. The FIR against Asthana was 6 days old by 21st. Was Verma waiting for Rahu Kal at 11:30 am on 23rd for both actions? Why these were not done by 22nd? Why Ms. Barkadat's Twitter handle went cold after 25th on an earlier tweet? Classic example of systematic indoctrination of subjugation mentioned in my last video, 5 years of Modi. Shri Kargeji's appeal against government sending Verma on leave was pending. Between 23rd October and 8th Jan, there were plethora of media debates and reports on Rafale deal and alleged shenanigans of Asthana. If Rafale probe and Asthana's arrest were the real reasons, then why, on 8th Jan, Supreme Court did not consider these factors while hearing Verma's case? As per my information, CBI cannot start a probe in a defense deal unless ordered by government or Supreme Court. In spite of known legal provisions, why media gave coverage for this fake campaign? Believe me, no stone has been left unturned to try to unseat Modi, whatever the cost. Incidentally, some tweets will come to haunt soon. William Shakespeare in All Is Well That Ends Well wrote, and I quote, "He will lie, sir, with such volubility that you would think truth were a fool," unquote. Remember,
4. Allegedly.
Intelligence Bureau people were caught outside Verma's house on 25th October. Why an intelligence wing outside CBI director's house? CBI's inquiry against Verma basis Asthana's complaint was 6 months old. But then, suddenly on 22nd October, why was CBC working till about 11:30 hours in the night? What were Cabinet Secretary, Home Secretary and Principal Secretary to PM doing in the office till mid of the night? Was NSA glued to it? Was PM awake? What was it that CBI director had done or was up to that suddenly the highest echelon of government had to sit up late into wee hours of 23rd? Why Verma had to be sent on leave, or precisely why the government didn't want him to be CBI director for an hour more? Tom Robbins, a novelist in Villa Incognito, said, and I quote, "You may tell the greatest lies and wear a brilliant disguise, but you can't escape the eyes of the one who sees right through you," unquote. Look at the charade from another prism. Supreme Court had observed that portions of CBI's report on Verma as very uncomplimentary, extremely strong words and conduct of an incumbent CBI director. Pushed the sealed envelope further. On a point of law, Supreme Court reinstated Verma as director on 8th Jan. That procedurally decision to send him on leave should have been taken by a high-powered committee, not by government alone. Yet, the court also gave a week's time to the committee to decide on director's future. But look at but a few headlines, which convey as if it was a slap in the face of the government. The fact that SE was fully seized of the sensitivity of the case was relegated to bottom of the page. Power of subtle messaging to influence you and me. By asking Justice Sikri to be part of the committee, Justice Ranjan Gogoi had sent a clear message that the decision of the committee was not influenced by what he had seen in CV's report. To make sense out of this suspense, let us now latch on to the probe of Augusta Copter scam that was taking shape offshore, a probe monitored by Supreme Court. Little earlier to blowing up of CBI episode, as media wildly canvassed, was Asthana preparing the charge sheets against bureaucrats and politicians? Is that the actual reason FIR against Asthana was registered? Why a number 2 official of RAW, Mr. S.K. Goel's name included in that charge sheet? The fact that Verma was not cooperating in the inquiry conducted by CBC is already in public domain. But where the murky saga takes the shape of a crime thriller is away from Delhi and Dubai. Preparations to get Christian Michel extradited was underway for close to 3 years. Let us understand the contours and messaging of this investigation. Never was there a political go-ahead to go after the big scamsters in our history. To top it, on a foreign soil, it was literally an uncharted journey in the sand dunes of Gulf for our intelligence sleuths. In this investigative canvas, was there a different handle brushing its own misaligned lines, trying to spoil the painting being drawn by RAW? Was there SOS from Middle East to Delhi about this CBI handle? But then, why would Verma try to derail Christian Michel's extradition? Whose interest was he trying to safeguard? Who was controlling the throw of Shakuni's dice in the background? Which lawyer welcomed Michel when he was dumped into the cell of ED? Note the move, not the CBI. See my legal check review for an answer. And you have Congress and sold media tom-tomming in town that Modi has destroyed institutions. Sanctity, integrity of institutions redefined again. Did the interference of Verma reach such a stage where the safety of few officials in Gulf was in jeopardy that they had to be removed from scene of operation? Did RAW Chief meet the PM on 21st? Did RAW Chief say that at this rate we will have to shut down RAW? Does this all give credence to rumors that NSA's as well as PM's phones were being tapped by someone in the CBI? Was Verma called by Modi after RAW Chief's brief? Was he directed to meet NSA on the same day? Did NSA ask him to put on his papers? Even at this stage, it appears that Modi did not want Verma's name to be sullied, since he was merely being used as a pawn in the macabre of cunning moves of shadowy figures. After the meeting with NSA, why didn't Verma resign? Who promised support to him? On 22nd, the next day, did he refuse to take NSA's call? If Congress press brief about probe into Rafale deal was true, why didn't Verma order the probe on 22nd after the summons he received by the PM? On the question of safety of operatives in Dubai, did the PM make a call to a dignitary in Middle East in the wee hours of 23rd? Does this explain burning of midnight oil in the South Block on 22nd night? Is the real reason for Verma's sudden moving out of CBI on October 23rd or final removal on 10th Jan lay on the floors of belly dances in the Middle East or the sand dunes of famous Al Khadra desert of UAE? Or to be precise, was Mr Alok Verma removed to ensure that Supreme Court monitored investigation in Augusta Copter scandal reaches its logical conclusion? Is that the reason Verma had to go within 2 days after Supreme Court reinstated him on a point of law? Patti Kalanan Henry in Between the Tides wrote, and I quote, "Over time, hidden truths morph on the dark soil of deceit into something much worse," unquote. Have you seen the length of the tentacles of an octopus? Or visualize the sharpness of a dragon's claw or a dinosaur's jaw?
By one order on Verma's future which helped in continued investigation on Augusta's scam, did Chief Justice rock the boat that troubles will start for the judiciary very soon? Do recollect Verma sidelining and Christian Michel's airlift from Dubai happened near simultaneously? On 20th April, Chief Justice spoke of political plot to deactivate the justice system related to sexual harassment case. Modi government said it is time to stand up with the judiciary. Then who is plotting judiciary's downfall? Justice Kehar, Justice Deepak Mishra, now Chief Justice Gogoi. Are Chief Justices suddenly in question? Or are the cases not going as per the desires of the powers that be? Why is Congress conspicuously silent in the present case? Supreme Court spoke of court fixes. Why now all of a sudden? On 30th April, court ordered to list both Rafale and Mr Gandhi's contempt case for 6th. Yet, only Rafale case was listed, to the utter shock of justices, leaving them flabbergasted. Fixes right under the nose of Supreme Court. Who is laughing in the background? Beyond the highest court of the land, anything else left to fix? Will we get to see the names of peddlers of justice ever? I often wonder, will the rolling of dice by Shakuni ever end in this land of Hastinapur? I know this session has more questions than answers. Unfortunately, I can't give up my sources. But have a look at this one link to kill your curiosity. Article from outside our country. Connecting the dots. Pencil is yours, sir. Maria Carvoni, writer and poet, wrote, and I quote, "Start believing in conspiracies, because those who have the power conspire, and they keep their power by having people not believing in conspiracies," unquote. May the truth prevail. Jai Hind.